You know, we use words all the time, right? But have you ever really stopped to think about where they come from? Sometimes, the most common words hide these incredible, secret histories that connect ideas we would never, ever think were related. And today, we're going to uncover one of those amazing stories.
Okay, so I want you to really think about this for a second. What on earth could a rock concert, with the huge crowds, the screaming fans, the super loud music, what could that possibly have in common with a quiet, super detailed tax return?
It honestly sounds like the start of a bad joke, doesn't it?
Well, the answer is actually hiding in plain sight, right inside the words we use to describe them.
I mean, look at these two. On the surface, they live in completely different universes. An audience is all about a big, shared, public experience of listening together. But an audit, that's a private, super careful financial checkup. They seem like total opposites. So, what's the secret? How are these two things connected? Well, let's dig in.
All right, this is where our little investigation really kicks off. We're going to pull back the curtain and see how these two words, which seem like they have nothing in common, are actually part of the same family.
And here it is. This is the master key to the entire puzzle. It all boils down to this one simple Latin root, aud, or audit, which comes from the verb audire. And what does it mean? It just means to hear or to listen. That's it. This one little concept is basically the DNA that links our two mystery words together. So, the big takeaway is, both words are fundamentally about listening.
Now, to really, truly understand this connection, we have to go way back in time. So let's hop in our verbal time machine. Our journey starts in ancient Rome, which is where the story of hearing really gets interesting.
Just picture for a second. You're in this massive stone amphitheater, carved right into a hillside. There are thousands of people all around you. An actor is standing on a stage way, way down below. But, and this is the amazing part, because the Romans were absolute masters of acoustics, their voice carries perfectly to every single person there. The entire building was designed for one single purpose, to help people hear.
And what's so cool is how clearly you can see this root pop up in our language today. An audience? Well, that's literally a group of listeners. An auditorium is a place that was built for hearing. If a sound is audible, you can hear it. And an audition, that's a trial hearing for a performer who wants a part. It's all right there staring us in the face. But this brings us back to our big question.
What about the odd one out, the black sheep of the family? What in the world is the story of an audit?
And here is the big plot twist in our story. See, back in medieval times, a lot of people couldn't read. So how did you check the financial books? You didn't read them. You had someone read them out loud. And an official, called the auditor, would literally listen to the accounts being read using their ears to catch any mistakes. So this act of hearing the finances is the direct ancestor of today's audit. And boom, just like that, our mystery is solved.
So, okay, we cracked the code connecting an audience and an audit, but the story doesn't stop there. This little root, aud, is actually part of a much, much bigger picture. It's a critical piece of how we communicate at all. Think about it like this. Every single time we talk, it all starts with one person using their voice. That idea comes from the Latin root voc, which is where we get words like vocal or advocate. Okay, so you have a voice. Now you have to use it to say something, right? This part comes from another Latin root, dict, which you can see in words we use all the time, like dictate or predict.
And finally, for any of that to matter, for communication to actually happen, someone else has to hear it. And there it is, our root aud. Voice, speech, and hearing. These three ancient roots form this perfect little triangle that's at the very core of how we connect with each other.
You know, this idea that hearing is essential is definitely not new. The ancient philosopher Zeno of Citium put it perfectly thousands of years ago. This quote is such a great reminder that listening, the very heart of our root aud, has always been seen as a powerful and maybe even the most important part of any conversation.
So, from a Roman theater all the way to a modern tax form, the simple act of hearing connects it all, which kind of leaves us with one final thought, right? If audience and audit share such a wild secret history, just imagine how many other words that we use every single day are just waiting for us to discover their story.